The month of March is coming on strong. So are you freaked out because you're an influencer, entrepreneur, any form of business owner, and now you're overwhelmed by the blank page that is that upcoming month? Let me share with you my March-centric content marketing planning method. And if you use it, you'll save yourself a lot of overwhelm and frustration, especially while you try your best to balance your busy personal and professional life over and above your content planning, creation, optimization, and publication efforts. It's super easy and it'll make sure you have both your relationship marketing and straight up sales-based marketing bases covered. Okay, so here I am looking at my calendar for March without much of anything loaded onto it right now. It doesn't matter if you use Google Calendar or you use any other kind of digital calendar system. Whatever works for you, just work it. Don't overthink things, okay? So in the purple colored dates or events, what you're currently seeing are holidays that, in this case, my Google Calendar has preloaded onto it. So that's fine. I'll leave those there. That might inform whatever content marketing I do organically, what I create on my own and publish immediately after on those days. Anything I say in my live streams that, I might do on those days, anything that I'll have done in advance and scheduled out, either stuff that I create on my own, pay someone else to create for me, or perhaps through the popularity plan for March, which is my digital download asset pack that's loaded with 100 or more graphics in it from month to month. In this case, most of those are very March-centric, so that helps you, especially if you're a busy solopreneur, you don't have the biggest team. Plus, there's templates in that pack and or swipe files for a weekly email in the month of March. If you hate writing those, it'll help. Plus, around 15 swipe files for social media post captions that go with some of the graphics that might have to do with some of those days that you're going to see in there that are very March-centric days that are in the popularity plan pack. In this case, I'm starting with almost a clean template to work with from here in terms of the holidays that Google thinks is important. So next, during calendar pass number 2, let's add in some more days that I have to take into account as I plan out my content marketing for the month of March. And these days are kind of more practical. Okay, so this is calendar pass number 2. And in this case, I only really had one date to worry about this month when it comes to school. So if you're an entrepreneur parent, you should think to do this when you're planning out your content, when you're going to create it, how you're going to create it, what days you should be creating content on and not creating content on. Just plug in whatever days you might have, where school might be scheduled to be closed. Is it closed for a superintendent's day? Is it a half day? What have you. Number 1, you should want to keep track of these days, right? But number 2, from an entrepreneur's perspective, a content marketing perspective, if you're like me, you don't have a professionally soundproof studio or whatever, so you might need to have a quiet house to create content in, no matter what type it is. And if kids are home, that's either not going to happen or it's not going to happen quietly or easily. And you might want to spend time with your kids during these half days or full days that they're off from school. I mean, don't you? So you might need to rope these days off to plan ahead for when you create your content. So maybe those days are off limits, let's say, for creating content. And or you'll know that you'll have to create more content in batches, like your batch recording, your batch creating content, what have you, so that you don't have to sweat coming up with content or staying on a publishing schedule for YouTube, a podcast, or whatever. You'll have done the work ahead of time. You'll schedule everything out that you can on YouTube or other social media platforms to cover these days so that when your children are home from school, all day or half days, you're fine. They're fine. Everyone can spend quality time together instead of you shushing them all day long or getting a headache because you're stressed out and you have to cover a content marketing base and now maybe you can't. So fail to plan, plan to fail. So let's now move on to calendar pass number 3. Okay, on to calendar pass number 3. I always tell my students, if you want to make more money as an entrepreneur, you have to make more offers. If you want to be taken seriously as a business, you do have to sell. You're helping your clientele to solve problems and or satisfy desires. So selling is helping. Entrepreneurs are paid to help people solve their problems, right? You gotta plug in the dates of sales that you want to have, product launches you're going to do, affiliate marketing campaigns you want to focus on, sponsorship deals if you're creating content live or pre-recorded. No matter what kind of business model you're running, creator, influencer, products, services, whatever you're selling, and no matter who you're selling it to, no matter what, you should have at least 2 sales-based or income-producing promotions a month at a minimum. So I've just plugged in 2 March-based sales promotions into my calendar as a minimum. They're dark green or money green. So now I know I'm covered the minimum for when my sales-based activities are going to go down. And of course, I'll have to prepare as much in advance as possible any content to not just announce the sales, say enrollment's open, cart's going to open or close sort of emails and social media content, but I also have to keep in mind, and so should you, about creating content that will create intrigue about these sales or promotions or enrollments. To stir the pot, warm things up with your audience and or your email list before you just launch headlong into sell mode. I bet if you do that more and more often, your sales will get better and better. So you have to plan for all of that type of content as well in advance too. On to calendar pass number 4. Okay, calendar pass number 4 is super simple. I want to make sure that I'm loading in any birthdays, anniversaries, special events, weddings, showers, whatever, into my calendar so that just like with the school closure days, I know when I'm not available to do things live, maybe when I have to make sure I definitely have content created and scheduled out to cover those days in advance. Otherwise, so this way I'm persistently and consistently content marketing and covering my daily base, but I'm also living my life. This way I keep whatever email list VIPs and brand-based social media following happy and well attended to with fresh content. And on days where I have other commitments in my personal life, I can do them, I can be present and not feel like one part of my life is suffering at the expense of another. So as you can see, I have an anniversary here for someone, a birthday for someone, and a St. Patrick's Day party that, am I having it? Am I going to it? Doesn't matter. These are just examples of what can go down in this case, the month of March, that I have to be aware of. So when you're loading content into your calendar or you are planning out content and content marketing and creation and optimization and publication, that sort of work into your content calendar and you're planning out for it. Don't forget everything that's going on in real life other than, school closures and such if you have kids. And if you don't have kids, you still have a life otherwise. So let's make sure that you have covered all of that sort of stuff. You've accounted for it in a busy month where you're going to have relationship marketing and straight up sales-based marketing going on, and you're going to plan out for all of that. So now on to calendar pass number 5 as we plan out our content marketing proper for the month of March. Okay, welcome to calendar pass number 5. Last stop. I spoke about covering a social media content marketing daily base. Not everywhere. I mean just the top 2 social media platforms that are most important to your niche. As you get more profitable, you grow a team, you can spread out to more and more social media platforms if you like to increase the public's discoverability of your brand. But as you can see here, I've got a lot of dates covered with this 5th calendar pass. I might go in and load more in, but just so that you can see, I've got March-centric holidays, tentpole events, special days, what have you, plugged in to serve as inspiration for, let's say, my content creation for those days. Plus, I can use my own popularity plan, March Digital Assets Pack, to do a lot of the heavy lifting for me so that I'm not creating everything from scratch. So as you can see in this banana yellow color that's now on the screen, I've got a lot of bases covered, a lot of content that I can create, and a lot of talking points to keep my brand-based community and email list that I currently have happy, and I can remain top of mind with them. But if I optimize, these types of posts properly, keywords in the caption, hashtags to optimize them with where applicable, I can get on the radar screen of potential new clients in a variety of ways as well with these types of posts. Nice, right? Am I going to put out additional content on those days? Sure I am, but I have a team to help me edit videos and design graphics and stuff like that. If you don't have access to that sort of stuff, you're going to have to load in additional days into your content calendar or block out time on your calendar where you're going to need to rope off time to batch plan, batch create and or record, and batch optimize and schedule out content. With or without the popularity plan to help you, you can do it. You just have to plan for all of this content marketing activity and then follow through on the work that's required. When you have more time than you have money, this is what you do. This is what I did to get to a six-figure and multiple six-figure business. This is what you can do too. I didn't have money for ads. You might not have money for ads, but you can get a lot of mileage out by organic content marketing. And look, if success was easy, everyone would do it. Am I right? Every entrepreneur would be rich, wouldn't they? So I didn't say that any of this stuff is easy, especially if you don't have the popularity plan for March, but it can be a whole lot easier on you personally and or professionally if you plan ahead and you put in the work that needs to be put in when it needs to be put in. This method is one that you can use to cover all of your bases for relationship marketing, straight up sales-based marketing, all of it for March. And whether you're doing everything from scratch or not, at least now you have a blueprint for how your business is going to run throughout March, and you'll know how much content you need to do all of the marketing and selling you need for your business to succeed in that month too. I'm all about teaching influencers, entrepreneurs, all sorts of business owners, all about content marketing for conversions. So make sure you subscribe to my channel and watch this next video of mine that YouTube thinks you'd really like.